Hi, I'm Kevin Andrew, the co-director of Alumni and Student Connections at PLU. Today, I am joined by PLU alum Savannah Phelan. Welcome, Savannah.
Hi, thank you.
To start our conversation today, please tell us about yourself.
Sure, yeah. Well, my name is Savannah, as you said. I was a PLU student and graduated in 2015. I studied anthropology and religion while I was there, and was really involved in outdoor rec. So I was the personnel director my senior year, so I did a lot of the outdoor rec trips while I was there. And currently I work at a church in Auburn, Messiah Lutheran Church, and I'm their associate director of faith formation and community partnerships. So a lot of things kind of fall under my job title, but primarily I'm in charge of all of the faith formation activities for like babies through middle school, and then also adults, kind of skip the high schoolers. So that was someone else. And then I also am in charge of kind of organizing and managing our different community partnerships and helping to connect us to the community around us and be involved in the community in different ways. And then also this fall, I'm actually starting seminary. So I'm going to be going to Wartburg in Iowa to do their distance program to become a deacon. So I'll be working on my master's there.
Well, congratulations on starting your master's degree.
Thank you. I'm really excited.
Well, thank you again. And I'm just going to start with our first question. What advice do you have for students as they start this fall semester with rapid change and really highly unusual circumstances?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's hard because this is new to all of us. So we're all kind of in the same boat. But I think my biggest advice would just be to show yourself a lot of grace and to be kind and generous with yourself. I think that in times of uncertainty, it's just really, when everything's out of our control and we're kind of forced into new levels of vulnerability, I think it's really natural for us to respond in ways we wouldn't typically or ways we wouldn't expect, and to be stressed in new ways and exhausted and maybe more withdrawn or have heightened anxiety and stress. And I know in my experience, it's really easy to like beat yourself up about some of those things and blame yourself. But I think that it's just important that we acknowledge like the weirdness of everything that is going on, and like recognize that we're going to have to rearrange some priorities and how we function and care for ourselves. Back in I think like March or April, I was meeting with Bishop Jake. He met with a group of us who work in faith formation, and something he said was just that, like, over the next few months, like, we are not going to be able to work at our like regular capacity. We're dealing with a lot, and that we have to like focus on that too and kind of honor that. And that if we check off one thing on our to-do list when we do like 7, it's still a win and doesn't like reflect on our value as human beings. So I think it's just really important that we are kind to ourselves, and also that can be easier said than done. So I think it's also important that you have people to remind you of that and to remind you that it's okay if like things aren't how they usually are and you're not working at your usual levels, I guess, and that it's going to be weird. But I think that would be my advice. And I think it's cool that PLU too seems to be valuing that too. I saw that the plus year that you guys are doing, and I think that that's kind of rooted in that same idea that you may not be able to do a full load this semester, and that doesn't reflect on you at all. It's just how the world is right now. So I think that's
Definitely. I think that's great advice. And I like the idea of everybody thinking about what their support network is and whatever aspect that looks like, and to help use that network to kind of get through this really unique time.
Yeah, definitely. A couple years ago I did Young Adults in Global Mission. I don't know if you've heard of that, but I was in Cambodia for the year, and it was I mean similar and very different to now, but similar in the sense that everything was out of my control and everything was new, and so I was also like responding in very different ways. And I was so hard on myself that year, and I think that that's something I took away from that, and I needed to have people constantly myself grace. And I think that's something I've tried to be better about the last few months, as I've been feeling some of those similar feelings of doubt and guilt and, I don't know, unkindness to myself. And it's really made a huge impact to be able to, I don't know, focus on that and show myself a lot of grace. So
Well, thank you for that.
yeah.
What are some of the values you learned at PLU that you use in your work?
Yeah. Um, I think the biggest thing for me is just the value of like learning and asking questions and digging deeper, or like thoughtful inquiry, I think is how PLU phrases it. And I love that. I actually wrote, when I was writing my candidacy essay for seminary and for candidacy, I said that like PLU was really the first place to ever ask me why I felt a certain way. And particularly in regards to my faith, it was like a religion class. They were asking me to like why I believe certain things, but also in other elements too, as the first place to ask, like make me confront my privilege, and to really like ask me why I understand the world the way I do. And I think that that was a huge turning point for me, and is a huge part of my faith, but also how I carry out my work. And it's a huge part of my current job, especially with faith formation. And I'm kind of trying to provide opportunities to dig deeper and ask questions, and to really question like why we do what we do as a faith community. Question like when maybe we were doing it for reasons that aren't exactly what we should be doing. Um, and I think during COVID too, it's been especially a huge part of my work, because since we're having to do ministry in such a different way right now, we really have to rearrange our priorities and ask a lot of questions about what's important to us and why it is, and what we want to keep and what we want to change going forward. And so that idea of being able to do that, like thoughtful inquiry and dig deeper, has been really a huge part of my job recently, and trying to figure out what the church is going to be in the future. And I think PLU kind of set the foundation for allowing me to ask those questions. Yeah.
And I think that's really great also in terms of just, asking questions during an uncertain time. And so
Mm-hmm.
since this fall continues to be that uncertainty, giving yourself that grace to ask some questions, and that's okay. And so I kind of love that connection as part of the why. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
We have some new alumni that just graduated this year in May.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have students that'll be graduating in May of 2021. And both of these groups may feel they have missed some opportunities because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
For example, study away
Mm-hmm.
impact, or performing and doing on-campus performances and things like that, or doing an in-person internship. What advice can you give an alum or the students to kind of put them at ease, that they don't feel they're behind or they're disadvantaged?
Yeah. A couple things, I guess. I think one, like the PLU year, I think is really, or the plus year, is that what it is? Yeah. I
Plus
think
here, yeah.
it's a cool opportunity. I was really proud to call myself a PLU alumni when I saw that. And I think that that's a really great opportunity if that's something that is an option for students, and that they can make that work with their life. I think that doing a fifth or an extra year, I feel like if I was at school at the time, I would have been like, oh, I don't know if I want to do another year. Maybe I need to like get started on my career. But I say do it if you can. Like there is time. And I think that's a really great opportunity to kind of do some of those opportunities that you maybe missed out on. But I also think that there's also a lot of other opportunities once you graduate too. I know I was one of the students who was terrified to graduate, because I just didn't want to have to figure out how to do everything on my own and find my community and find opportunities, and it just scared me so much. But there's just so many opportunities out there to do some of those things, whether it means joining like a community theater if you want. I don't
Mhm.
like if you're a theater student. Well, I'm not a theater student, but maybe that's an opportunity. But or perform, like finding ways to perform.
Mhm.
As far as like studying abroad, I mean, I did young adults in global mission, like I said, and there's a lot of really great opportunities for doing things abroad that are really, really impactful. I mean, that changed my life in so many ways. And there's a lot of alumni, I think, to Appeal U who are great resources and sitting down with students and talking about some of those opportunities. Um, so I think knowing that, like, if you, like, especially for those maybe who have already graduated, like, there are a lot of really cool opportunities to continue to learn. And I think so often people think that, I don't know, there's this idea that you have to like figure out your life as soon as you graduate. I mean, that's not, I did like 4 or 5 different jobs before I found this one. And this is the first one I like actually felt like is maybe my vocation in that sense. And so I think that you'll have lots of opportunities to try different things. And that's a huge learning. I mean, you learn just as much from that as you do from getting your undergraduate or your graduate grade too. So just know there's still lots of opportunities to learn and to grow, and yeah, I guess that would be my advice. And reach out to alumni because they have a lot of experience, and I think a lot of people are happy to share about it. So make
I
connections.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Great advice. And yeah, I'm definitely one that life takes you on many paths. And yeah. Um, um, well, thank you for
Sure.
those great words of wisdom. And I know it's going to be really helpful for our alums and our students. And all the best to you in the fall semester.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you so much, Savannah.
Of course. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.